Oh no.
The sweet sound of silence.
Oh, they can't hear anything.
Nope, they can't hear anything right now.
The sweet sound of silence.
Good thing I checked.
I was just talking to the void even more than usual.
Yes, I'm sure. Now we should.
Inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze forward for cow. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, arch the spine, press through the hands, find cat. And just take that a couple of times. Inhale, drop the belly, come into cow. Exhale, press the mat away, find cat. 3 more rounds just like that. Follow your breath, go as slow as it moves through your body. Finishing up your last round. Starting to meet in neutral tabletop. Start to bring your weight into your left hand. Inhale, sweep the right arm up towards the ceiling. Opening through the chest. Take an inhale, release the neck. We exhale, pull the shoulder a little back. Even more. Breathing into this chest opener. Inhale. Exhale, set the hand back down onto the mat. Switching sides, bringing your weight into your right hand. Inhale, start to reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Take an exhale, drop the neck. Inhale. And exhale, maybe invite that left shoulder a little bit back. Inhale. Exhale, set the hand down to the mat. Take a round of cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly. Bring the gaze forward, cow. Exhale, curl it all in. Press the mat away. Arch through the upper back. Release it all back down to your tabletop. Start to tuck the toes underneath you. Press into the hands, all points, base of the knuckles, into the thumb, the pointer fingers. Start to tuck the toes. Inhale, lift the knees up. And exhale, start to lift the hips up and back. First down dog, maybe of your practice, maybe of your day. Still pressing through all points of those hands. Maybe bend deeply into the knees. And breathe here. Feel free to pedal the legs out one at a time if you wish. Take 2 to 3 breaths here just to explore your own posture. Waking up your first down dog. Next, exhale, bend deeply into the knees. Look up past the fingertips. Slowly walk the feet to meet the hands. Meeting in ragdoll, bend deeply into the knees. Tip your weight forward into your toes. Allow your torso to drape over the lower body. Maybe hands to elbows or shoulders. Release the neck. Maybe you sway side to side. One more round of breath here. Start to release the hands down to the mat on your next exhale. Next inhale, start to come into your halfway lift, taking your hands underneath your knees. Press into the chin, into the shins. Lift your upper body up and pull the crown of the head forward. Lower belly is slightly in. Maybe slight bend in the knees. Take one more round of breath in and out here. Inhale. Exhale, bend back into the knees, fold forward, ragdoll. Release the head. Start to bring your weight into your heels, pressing through the feet. Lower belly in as you inhale, start to sweep the arms out and then up, pressing through the legs to stand up. Bring the arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Press even more through the legs. Find nice, strong, powerful legs here. Tailbone is slightly tucked underneath you. Maybe roll the shoulders up and exhale, roll them down and back. Pulling the shoulder blades back. Nice and open through the chest here. Maybe close the eyes. Take 3 rounds of breath here in this strong standing mountain pose. We'll spend a lot of time pausing here in our practice in this posture, so really just get to enjoy it, focus on the breath, slow things down a bit. We start to blink the eyes open, starting to move a bit more. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over. Exhale, bend into the knees, start to hinge forward. Try to keep that flat spine as you fall towards the mat. Nice and controlled. Inhale to come up for that halfway lift, hands onto shins, reach the crown of the head forward, lower belly in. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Weight into heels. Bend slightly into the knees, lower belly in. Inhale, sweep arms out and up, reaching up towards the sky. Palms meet overhead. Exhale, draw the hands together. Maybe close the eyes, 3 rounds of breath. Finding that balance between movement and stillness. When you're ready, inhale, sweep up overhead, building on that last round. Exhale, bend into the knees, hinge forward, bring yourself slowly down to the mat with that flat spine. Inhale, reach up, halfway lift. Exhale, meet the mat, bend into the knees, plant the hands. Step both feet back to your plank or come to the knees for another variation or make fist first, doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, tailbone is slightly tucked underneath you. Press into the hands, slight arch of the upper back. Feel the core ignite, engage, start to build some heat in the body. Fingertips nice and wide, pressing through the base of those knuckles still. One more round of breath here. Inhale, come forward, bring weight into the toes or bring the shoulders slightly past elbows. Exhale, lower chest and belly down to the mat, maybe all in one line. Everything comes to the mat at the same time. Bring the hands underneath the heart, squeeze the elbows towards the rib cage. Take around a moment to pause here. When you're ready, squeeze the shoulder blades together even more. From that place of strength, inhale to lift up with the heart, using the hands more as placement than using that to lift yourself up. Exhale to come back down. Taking that back bend again, elbows squeeze in. Inhale, lift up with the heart. Maybe this time you want to place some weight into your hands, straighten through the arms, slight micro bend in the elbow. Pull shoulder blades back, chest pulls forward, lower belly in to protect the lower back. Inhale. The exhale, tuck the toes, and lift the hips up and back, finding down dog. Around a breath here. Exhale, bend into the knees. Look up past the fingertips. Step it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Weight into heels. Inhale, sweep up, lift up. Palms meet. Exhale, draw it through heart center. 3 rounds of breath. Moving along, inhale, lift up overhead. Exhale, come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Start to bend into the knees, plant the hands. Right foot will step back. Scoot it as far back as you can get it. Drop the knee, untuck the toes. Finding a pretty deep lunge here, take your blocks, frame the front foot. Find as deep as you want to go into this lunge. Walk the foot forward a little bit. Realign it, knee above ankle. Maybe you keep on doing that until you find as far as you want to go into this lunge. Pretty deep than our normal Anjaneyasana low lunge. We're going to use those blocks to support us. And breathe here, trying to press the left hip forward, right hip back. Slightly lift the chest up, pull shoulder blades together so the heart is nice and open. Not rounding too much forward, but nice and lifted through the chest. You can have those blocks on any setting that you like. One more round of breath here. And the legs here aren't going to move at all. Still keep that knee above ankle, hips squared off towards the front of the mat. Come on to the highest setting of the blocks. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you slowly walk the blocks closer and closer towards you, lifting the torso fully up to that full Anjaneyasana, a little bit deeper than probably your normal one. You can still use those blocks to support you, shoulders are in line with the wrists, with the hands, or you can play with bringing the hands to heart center or lifting up. Might be a little bit too intense for this deeper lunge. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring everything towards the mat. Set the blocks to the side for the next side. Tuck the toes, lift the back knee. Step that right foot forward. Standing forward fold, maybe wiggle the legs out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend into knees, plant the hands. Left foot steps back this time. Scoot it back as much as you can. Then drop the knee. Untuck the toes. Press right hip back, lift it forward. Find those blocks. Frame that right foot. Play around with finding that depth of the lunge that you wish to find. Slowly walking the right foot forward a little bit. Bring the knee above ankle until you find as deep as you want to go into this first lunge on this side. Still trying to keep the heart lifted. Press the hands into the blocks to lift the chest forward. Squeezing shoulder blades together. A round of breath in and out here. You can stay here. You can bring those blocks onto the highest setting, lifting the heart up even more. And you can slowly walk those blocks in, keeping the legs right exactly where they're at, bit by bit. You can stop at any point along the journey up. Once again, eventually having shoulders in line with wrist if you get there. Maybe you want to bring hands to heart center or lift it up. Maybe that's too intense for this variation. The depth of this lunge. Inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Frame the right foot. Tuck the back toes. Lift the knee up and step it to the front of your mat. Standing forward fold. Maybe wiggle it out a little bit. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees. Plant both hands. Step both feet back. Find your variation of your plank pose. Inhale, come slightly forward. Lift the shoulders. Exhale, squeeze elbows in towards the ribcage as you lower everything down. Realign the hands underneath chest. Squeeze elbows in. Inhale, lift from the heart. Come into your back bend, baby cobra, faux cobra. Exhale out. Another inhale. And exhale, tuck the toes. Lift it all the way back and up. Down dog. A round of breath here. Exhale, bend into the knees, look forward. Step to the top of your mat on your inhale. Exhale, melt into your folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, heart center. 3 rounds of breath. Building even more on that sequence. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend deeply into the knees. Plant the hands. Right foot steps back. Scoot the leg back as much as you like. Drop the knee. Untuck the toes, coming into your normal low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Square off the hips first. Knees stack above ankle. Inhale, scoop the arms up towards the ceiling or to heart center. Try to knit the belly in so the rib cage closes inwards versus being opened back. Nice alignment through the entire spine from the hips to the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Tuck the toes. Lift the back knee. Step it to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees. Left foot steps back. Walk it back as much as you like. Lower the back knee, untuck the toes. Find the alignment in the hips and the knee, ankle. And use your next breath in to lift up. Pull the belly in. To keep the spine nice and straight, lifting everything up in a straight line towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Next inhale, tuck the toes, lift everything up. Step it to the front. Exhale, release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Step both feet back. Vinyasa will be optional at this point. Take a breath in your plank pose. Maybe come to down dog, or you can move through that vinyasa. Meet in down dog. Find feet about hips distance apart. Inhale, start to sweep the right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes down. Really pull the heel back. Try to straighten through that leg as much as you can. Not going for how high you can lift the leg. Go for how straight you can keep the leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend the knee. Start to open up the hip towards the right hand side. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, curl the knee in, coming into that plank pose with that knee pulling into the belly. Maybe come up high onto the toes. Bring that foot through. Stacking knee above ankle. Bring that left foot in 45 degrees. Setting up for warrior one. Square off the hips, right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls forward, right hip pulls back. Take a round of breath here. On your next inhale, slowly start to roll up. And then maybe hands to heart center or lift it up. Warrior one. Really trying to press down through that left leg as much as you can, keeping the hips square. Take another round of breath here. Next exhale carries you down towards the mat. Plant the hands. Come onto the ball of the left foot. Step the right foot back. Meet in down dog. When you're ready, left leg starts to reach up. Find that length through the leg. Maybe slightly lower it down to focus on lengthening through the leg. Flex the foot, toes point down. Heel pulls towards the back of the room. Maybe on your next exhale, you bend the knee. Start to open the hip up towards the left. Inhale, start to straighten through the leg. Exhale, curl everything forward into your plank pose. Pull that knee up into the belly. Come up high into the right toes. Bring that foot through. Stuck, knee above ankle. Bring that right foot in, 45. Set up for your warrior one. Press the right hip forward, the left hip back. Pause here at the bottom of your mat. Next inhale, slowly start to rise up. Hands to heart center, or lifting up and over. Stomp through that right leg. Keep the hips pressing forward. 2 rounds of breath here. Inhale. Exhale to meet your mat. Come onto the ball of the right foot. Left foot steps back. Find your down dog. Exhale, bend into the knee. Look forward. Step to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach towards the sky. Exhale, meet at the heart. 3 breaths. Building on that flow one last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to come to the mat. Bend the knees. Right foot steps back. Drop the knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Inhale. Exhale, meet the mat. Tuck the toes. Step it forward on your inhale. Exhale into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees. Left foot steps back. Drop everything down. Find your Anjaneyasana, low lunge on your inhale. Deep breath in. Deep breath out to come to the mats. Inhale, lift everything up into the top of your mat. Exhale carries you down into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come back to your folds. Bend into the knees. Step everything back. Meet in your plank. Make that decision, choose vinyasa, down dog, or child's pose. Starting to meet in down dog. Down dog, inhale, right leg reaches up. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip towards the right. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, curl it forward, lift up high into the toes, pull the knee in, and bring that foot through. Set up, warrior one. Inhale, lift when you're ready. Bring the hands to heart center. Take a round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale to hinge forward about halfway. Bring the palms to that right thigh. Press the palms into the leg to lift the chest up. Take a round of breath here. Start to bring more weight into that right leg. Start to pick up the left heel. Press even more into that leg. And maybe start to hover that left leg off the mat for supported warrior 3. Square the hips off, drop the left hip down, lift the right hip up. Press as much as you can through that standing right leg. And also lift up through that left leg. Flexing the toes down, pulling the heel back. Inhale. Exhale, drop it down. Lower the hands down to the mat. Step that right foot back. Maybe you move back to rest. Maybe you come into plank. Bring the feet together behind you to touch. Take the left hand underneath your gaze. Start to roll over, open up to the right hand side of your mat, coming onto the blade of the bottom foot and reach that right arm up. Press into that hand to lift the hips up. Press the hips forward. Side plank. It also helps to keep the gaze down at the mat. Inhale. And exhale, bring the hand back down to the ground. Drop to the knees. Find that child's pose for 5 breaths. Maybe a block underneath the forehead. Slowly start to come up to your tabletop. Set that block to the side if you used it. Tuck the toes, lower belly in. Lift everything up to your down dog. Moving on to the second side. Inhale, left leg sweeps up and back. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip up. Inhale, re-straighten the leg. Exhale, curl everything forward, come high onto the toes, squeeze that knee in towards the belly, and bring it through. Find that back foot 45, set up for your warrior one. Inhale, rise when you're ready. Hands wherever you like them. Take a round of breath here. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward halfway, bringing palms to left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, press the palms into the thigh to lift the heart up. Round of breath here. When you're ready, bring more weight into that left leg. Maybe the right heel starts to lift. Maybe that right leg starts to lift up. Press even more into that thigh to lift the heart up as that right leg reaches up. Finding that line for the crown of the head all the way back through the heel. Warrior 3. Take another inhale. Exhale, drop that foot back down. Release the hands to the mat. Step it back to your plank. Maybe child's pose, down dog, straight to there. If you want to go for side plank, bring the feet together. Place the right hand underneath your gaze. Maybe look down at the hand to help you stabilize. As you start to drop onto the blade of the bottom foot, press into that hand. Reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Press the hips forward and up. Inhale. Exhale, hand meets the mat. Drop to the knees. Child's pose again, 5 breaths. Use that block, set it to the side. Find tabletop. Tuck the toes. Inhale, lift. Down dog. Exhale, bend into the knees, look towards the top. Bring it to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, up towards the ceiling. Exhale at heart center. Close the eyes. Take 5 breaths here in this nice, strong, standing mountain pose. Really pressing the feet into the ground. Feel the kneecaps lift, the backs of the legs engage, the quads engage. Tailbone slightly tucked underneath you. Blink the eyes open. Find both of your blocks or whatever you've been using. Moving into some hip work. Bring your weight into the left foot. Find a point on the ground that's not going to move. Maybe you start to pick up the right heel. Then maybe pick that knee up, knee in line with the right hip. Cross that ankle on top of the left thigh. Flex the foot so the toes point down towards the mat, creating this figure 4 position. Press even more through that standing left leg. You can just stay here. You can inhale. And exhale, start to bend into that standing knee. Drop the hips down. Maybe start to hinge the torso forward. Bring the blocks to the mat. Finding the standing pigeon pose. Keep that right foot flexed. Pulling the right knee back. The more you want, the more you'll bring the hands closer towards the ground. Using those blocks to aid you, slowly placing them on lower and lower settings. If you're able, you can also try to hook that right foot onto the back of the left arm, onto that shoulder, that deltoid. And the more you drop the hips down, the more the pose will also intensify. You can also balance here by releasing the hands from the blocks and bringing them to heart center. You can also reach for the back of the left leg and pull that forward more into a fold. Find whatever variation that feels good for your body here. When you're ready and all done, just slide that right leg down. Hip distance apart, giving a nice little wiggle to the legs. Keep the blocks in hand as you lift up. Taking that to the opposite side. Feet hip distance apart. Find that focal point on the mat, the ground. Bring the weight into the right foot. Maybe start to pick up the left heel. Then maybe the knee. Finding that hip and knee aligned with each other. Maybe just stay here. Maybe your next exhale, make that figure 4 across that left ankle on top of the right thigh, flexing the foot down. Toes point down. You can stay here, pressing through that right foot, nice and strong leg. And also inhale. Exhale, start to bend into that right standing leg. Lower the hips down, like you're going into your chair. Maybe hinge the torso forward, bring the blocks towards the front of the mat. Have the blocks on whatever setting feels good here. And just play with your edge of your pose if you want to play around with moving the blocks to lower and lower settings, coming deeper into the stretch. Maybe hooking that foot onto the shoulder. Maybe bending even more into that right knee, setting the hips down. Breathing into the hips here. Doesn't matter how far you go or don't go. It's more just, can you be fully in your body? Breathe through some slight discomfort, as long as it's not pain. You can also play with balancing. Hands at heart center. or reaching for the back of the leg and pulling yourself forward. When you feel like this side's all done, release that left foot back down, wiggle it out, and set the blocks to the side. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale to the heart. Last time, close the eyes. 5 breaths here. Nice, strong, stable mountain pose. Coming down to the mat to work on some more hips. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, release down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step both feet back to your plank. If you want one last vinyasa, feel free to go to it, but we're gonna meet in down dog. Coming to pigeon pose. Inhale, sweep the right leg up. Exhale, curl the knee forward. Try to get the shin as parallel as you like to the top of the mat. Set both knees down. Slide that left leg all the way back. And play around with how deep you want your posture. The more the shin is parallel with the top of your mat, the deeper sensation you'll find. You can also pull that heel a little bit closer towards the left hip. If you see yourself leaning more to one side or the other, you can take a block, set it underneath the right hip, that gap in between the hip and the mat. You can bring the hands down to the mat or to the leg. Inhale, press into the mat or the leg, lift up. Exhale, lower halfway down. And pulse like that, just 3 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, halfway lower. 2 more right ones at your own pace. On your last one, meet in your sleeping pigeon, lower everything down. Maybe to the forearms. Maybe reach the arms for the top of your mat, fold it. Forehead can come onto the mat or to a block. 10 breaths here. Really focus on moving those deep breaths through the body. Maybe directing a little bit to the hips here, as that's the part of the body that's most getting that stretch. Start to come up onto the forearms. Drop the hips to the right. Press the hands into the mat, lift the torso up. Start to slowly drag that left leg out towards the side. You're going to want to get that right shin parallel with the top of the mat. Flex that right foot, toes point towards the top as well. Bring that left knee forward as much until it's aligned with the left hip. Knee is also aligned with the left heel. Toes are pointing out towards the left-hand side. You notice you're kind of leaning over to one side like I am here. You take a block, bring it underneath the right hip to lift up. Trying to find nice long spine here. Getting a little bit deeper into that left hip. Another option here is to also find some pulsing movement. Take the hands either in front of the shin or to the outside of that right leg. Lift up, press the fingertips in to the mat to find a nice straight spine. And just start to pulse up and down with your breath. Exhale to fold. Inhale to press up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lift. Maybe 2 more times like that. Another option as well to strengthen the hip is to take that pulsing action and come down halfway. Then press even more, really press that right leg into the mat. Bring the hands to heart center, using that action of pressing that leg down and pulling the core in to lift up the torso. Inhale. Exhale, set the hands down. Bring your weight all the way to the right so you can extend that left leg out to the side and start to sweep it forward. Start to pull that right foot to the inside of that left leg. Left leg is reaching out to the corner of the mat, to the outside of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, grow tall. Exhale, rotate the chest towards that left leg. Inhale, reach up even more. Maybe bend a little bit into that left knee and exhale, hinge forward. Try to keep that flat spine, finding some point along the leg to grab onto. Shins, calf, foot, doesn't matter. Inhale, lift the chest, pull the heart forward. Lift through the crown of the head. And exhale with that length, you can fold forward. Maybe with each exhale, that leg straightens a little bit more. Find a deeper stretch through the back of the leg. And I'll lift up. Cross the shins on top of each other. Roll your weight forward, planting hands into the mat, rolling over the shins to come to tabletop. Take that all to the other side, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. This time, left leg reaches up. Exhale, curl it forward. Rotate that shin so it starts to come to the top edge of your mat. Lower the knees down. Slide that right leg back behind you. Play around with how deep you want the stretch. More shins parallel with the top of the mat, the deeper it is. Maybe pulling that heel a little bit closer towards the hip flexor to find a little bit more ease. So again, you can take that block, take it underneath to support the left hip. Start to take the hands, once again, either to the mat or to that left leg. Inhale, press into the mat, into that leg, lift up. Exhale, lower halfway down. 3 more rounds just like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, halfway lift, halfway lower. 2 more rounds. Last one, be in sleeping pigeon. Forearms to mat, arms reaching forward. Block underneath the forehead or to the mat. Five more breaths. Start to come up onto the forearms. Drop the hips towards the left. Press into the hands, into the mat. Bring all your weight to the left. and start to make that same configuration with the legs. Try to get that left shin parallel with the top of the mat. Flex the foot, toes point towards the top. Slowly walk that right leg forward until the hip aligns with the knee. Flex the toes out to the right-hand side. Once again, if you notice yourself tipping forward or to the left-hand side, take that block, lift up the left hip, and place it right underneath it to find a little bit more length through the torso. You can breathe here, stay here. The other option is to take the hands in front of the shins or to the outside of that knee and the foot. Inhale, press the fingertips into the mat, lift the chest up. Exhale, halfway lower. Begin that pulse with your breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. 3 more rounds. You want to build a little strength through the hips. Same thing as earlier, lower halfway down. Press that left leg into the mat as much as you can. Lower belly engages, core engages, and bring the hands to heart center, using that strength in the core, in that leg to keep you lifted. Inhale. Exhale, set the hands down. Drop your weight over towards the left so you can reach that right leg out to the side and sweep it forward. Taking that left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Finding that half wide-legged fold. Inhale, sweep arms up towards the ceiling. Reach up. Exhale, rotate the chest towards that right leg. Inhale, reach up even more. Maybe bend a little bit into that right leg as you exhale, hinge forward. Find where you want to grab onto the leg, shins, calf, toes. Inhale, lift up. Pull the heart forward. And then with that length, exhale, calm down. Release the neck. Maybe each exhale creates a little bit more length for you to straighten through that right leg. Inhale, start to come up. Cross the legs on top of each other. Coming into just a seated position. Inhale, lift up through the spine. Pull shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms meet. Exhale, bring the hands out the heart center. Close the eyes. 3 rounds of breath in the seated mountain pose. Take the hand down beside you. Bring the legs forward. Plant the soles of the feet onto the mat. Wrap the arms around the shins, around the knees. Curl in, bring the forehead in between the knees. Pause here. Next, inhale, pull the heart forward, pull the chest forward, find length through the spine. Lower belly engages, engage the core. Sweep the arms forward, palms face up. Inhale. And exhale, try to keep that flat spine as you lower down. Core will have to ignite even more to keep you nice and lifted and controlled as you come down to the mat. Eventually, the back of the head, the shoulders will ground into the mat. Pull the knees in towards the belly. Wrap the arms around the knees, the legs. Start to rock side to side, massage the lower back. Maybe you start to come to happy baby, bending 90 degrees into the knees, into the legs. Maybe grabbing the outside of the feet with the hands, pulling the knees in towards the crooks of the arms, breathing a little bit into the hips here. You can rock side to side. Also wrap 2 fingers around the big toes. Maybe you keep the left knee in as you extend the right leg out. You pull that back in, and maybe you extend the left leg out. Pull that one back in. Maybe extend both out. Pull them back in. Breathe here. Start to release hands from feet. Drop the feet back into the mat. Open the arms out towards the side into a T. Just coming into some light twisting action. Take an inhale. Exhale, release the knees over towards the right. Just allow them to fall over. Pause here. Maybe the gaze comes over towards the left fingertips. Inhale, start to bring the knees to center. Exhale to lower them over towards the left. Gaze can come over towards the right. Inhale to center. And just take a moment to explore your own movement. Listen to what your own body needs in this moment. Any other last postures, movements? Any other funky stretches that you need to take? And if you're ready to go straight to Shavasana, feel free to make yourself nice and comfortable, straightening through the legs, splaying out in all directions, allowing the fingers to curl in towards the palms, the blades of the feet to fall out towards the side. You close the eyes. Maybe shimmy the shoulders a little bit further underneath you together. Find a little bit more space, length. Notice those points of your body that are in contact into the mat where gravity is working on you the most. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Release the breath at natural rhythm, in and out. Maybe drift the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Lips can slightly part. Allow the eyes to relax. Try to stay here as long as you possibly can, really just relishing in that stillness, that sense of peace and relaxation through the body, through the thoughts. The light within me honors and respects the light within each and everyone out there. Namaste.